Behind me is the National Constitution Center, where Kamala Harris and Donald Trump will be going head-to-head for the very first presidential debate
on the most important issues facing America. They're gonna talk about economy, immigration, healthcare, and climate change. These debates are gonna shape the future of this country. So I will make Democrats confront Republicans to see how to defend their vision for America. But there is a catch. I'm gonna be acting a Republican if I'm talking with Democrats.
I prefer liberal Democrats.
Well, I'm a Republican. I'm gonna be voting for Trump.
Well, you shouldn't be voting for Trump. You just should not be voting for Trump. No way you should vote for Trump.
And I'm gonna act as a Democrat if I'm talking with Republicans. I think he has done nothing good for this country. And Kamala Harris is the one who's gonna make this country better.
Please tell me how. I'd love to see it. Not one person can answer.
While Doha's asking people their predictions on the debate on the West Coast, I'm here in the East Coast in Philadelphia, reporting and showing you everything that's happening on the ground in front of the National Constitution Center.
I'm here with
Gary.
So tonight is the debate.
Tonight is the debate. Very important for not only America, but the world.
Who are you voting for?
Certainly not Donald Trump, because I know what he's all about. And anybody who is voting, young people, older people, should have a clue that he's the best showman in the world, but he is a bad dude. He's a dictator. We don't need that in America. So certainly Kamala Harris, first of all, a powerful woman. Women should be ruling. I mean, you look at countries where women are in power, and they've done great jobs, including Scandinavia, and she'll be a great president for this country.
Would you not wait for the debate results to come out and listen to what their policies are?
I know her policies. I know his policies. I know the Democratic Party policies. I know the policies from the Republican Party. I know what Donald Trump thinks. I've known Donald Trump as a human since my days in New York when we were all really young, and he was always a trickster and a very, very good performer. If you want to care about the people, you don't want anybody like Donald Trump, because that's not who he is.
Austin, who are you going to be voting for?
Trump.
Really?
100%.
You live in LA?
Yep. Born and raised.
Really? And you're still voting for
Well,
Trump?
born and raised California, not LA, but I've lived here for 15 years.
This city is for Democrats.
That's what people think. I think people are just scared.
What?
There's a lot more conservatives than you would think, but they're afraid to speak up because people are so angry here.
I mean, you know what he did on January 6th.
I know exactly what he did. He had a public forum to speak at and encouraged people to not be violent, to not storm the Capitol, and there was idiots that did anyways, and that has nothing to do with him.
Really? I mean, he was the one who did that all.
Did what all?
What happened on January 6th?
What did he say?
Like, people got killed on January 6th, right?
No.
I mean, he invited so many people.
Can you quote him?
On what?
What he said on January 6th?
He told everyone to come at the Capitol and take over because he lost.
He actually said not to go into the Capitol.
What's Kamala's policy?
Completely the opposite. Liberal. It's very good in this country for a liberal Democrat. She's not too far to the left. She's kind of in the middle, but it's very good. You got to take care of young people. You got to take care of certainly women's rights and women's rights to control their own bodies. If we believe in democracy, of which America isn't the best democracy in the world, it's as good as it kind of gets. I come from a big movie studio. I'm a former senior vice president of Sony Pictures, and I'm aware of what goes on in the world. And
are you aware of the border crisis?
Of course, there's the border crisis here and everywhere else in the world.
Have you been to the border?
Not in a number of years. And the border crisis, you think Donald Trump and the Republicans are going to change that? He didn't make any difference while he was president. They didn't even build the walls that he talked about, which was a stupid waste of money. Anyway, will the Democrats do any better? I don't know.
There were less people coming inside the country, though.
Not meaningful enough. And guess what? In California especially, if we didn't have immigrants from Mexico and part of that in Latin America, we would not be as successful. There's no question. The proof is there. We are more successful because a lot of lazy Americans, lazy white Americans don't want to do jobs that are available for everybody.
Well, I mean, that's not the only case that he is convicted on. He's also convicted on 34 felonies, including paying a porn star through his lawyer.
Do you know what those felonies are actually, like all 34 are? They're BS felonies. There's a lot more politicians who have done a lot worse that are not being convicted. If we're going to convict people for small things that could be mistakes, could not be mistakes, let's go across the board and have fair treatment.
In fact, he got convicted and he had his own judges appointed, but he still got guilty.
I think those are BS convictions. They're obviously on a witch hunt. It doesn't matter to me. I'm going to vote for it no matter what.
I think Trump is racist.
Give me one reason you think he's racist, or one thing he said that's racist.
He's gonna build the wall and not let anyone in.
Do you let people into your house?
I mean, but those
Do you
people
keep your
are
door unlocked?
those are the people who are working.
You got to answer
build
my
this
question
country.
because I'm answering yours.
Hardworking people from Mexico and Latin America, they can come here and make more money and do a really good job. There's so many jobs here, and people here don't want them.
But there is gangs and other stuff. You know, are you aware of the Venezuelan gang in Colorado?
I also live in Colorado, and I'm aware of all that. You think because of the border that's going to change anything? Gangs are always going to get where they have to get. Bad people will always get in whatever bad people you think, whatever's bad. People will just get where they have to get. Nobody can control that 100%.
But why our government doesn't spend the money that we give it to as a taxpayer to ourselves, to the homeless people in Skid Row, to the homeless people all across America? Do you know how many homeless people are there in the United States?
Probably more than 100,000.
There is 800,000 homeless people.
Yeah, which is terrible. Terrible, extremely terrible that exists. Why does it exist? You have to examine why. Why is there so much homeless? What went wrong?
And Gavin Newsom is trying to pass a bill that is going to give $150,000 to illegal, undocumented immigrants, but not the people who are Americans.
I'm not going to answer that question.
You don't have thoughts on that?
I don't have any thoughts on that, no, because it's too much of a political question you're asking with a point of view that I may or may not agree with. In this entire country, nobody has ever figured out how to deal with the homeless people. Nobody has dealt with it. Republicans haven't dealt with it. Democrats haven't dealt with it. The mayor of Los Angeles can't deal with it. Nobody can deal with it. The New York mayor can't deal with it. Big city mayors can't deal with it. Why is that? You don't have an answer to that. It's not liberal and it's not right wing. It's just the system doesn't work, and poor people, you have to be lucky where you got born. You know, what country you are, where you live. You know, it's very hard for people to be successful anywhere. It's not easy. So
I think these are just government policies that made Americans themselves live on the streets. And I don't see it as a big problem to solve, because America is the first world countries and we have done things that no other country have ever done before.
Well, I'm very familiar. I work in Germany, and I am very familiar that Germany, which has let a lot of people in, certainly the Turks, certainly the Poles, Poland, to come in and work the jobs that Germans don't want, because there's a lot of money in Germany, and yet there's a lot of people, even though their system covers the public much better than here. Canada does the same thing. They just do it better. They just do it better, and all of Scandinavia does it better.
Have you been a Democrat all your life, or were you a Republican?
I actually consulted with Ronald Reagan for a number of years. But I've always been a Democrat, and I happen to like Ronald Reagan. Not his policies completely, but I liked him, and I liked the fact that he helped open up Eastern Europe, told Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall, and we won the Cold War, basically. So I was a big fan of Reagan's, but I prefer liberal Democrats.
Well, I'm a Republican. I'm going to be voting for Trump.
Well, you shouldn't be voting for Trump. You just should not be voting for Trump. No way you should vote for Trump.
No, because the gas prices were low, right?
Forget it. No, that doesn't matter.
That matters to me, though.
No, but guess what? The government doesn't control gas prices, and you know that. You should not be voting for Donald Trump, because unless you like a dictatorship, which
I don't think he's a dictator.
But he is.
In the last 32 years, for 28 years, Democrats have the government than Republicans, right?
No, and you shouldn't cut this out. Donald totally loves all the great dictators in the world, not great. From his buddies, he wants to be like North Korea. He wants to be like.
Do you keep your door unlocked at night in Los Angeles?
Yeah.
You do, really?
No, locked. I keep it locked.
You keep it locked because you don't want people coming in that aren't supposed to be in there. But would you let someone come in that you invited in?
I mean, if they're gonna work for me.
Wonderful. There's a proper way to do that. I don't think Trump is against against immigrants. He's against illegal immigrants, and we all should be against illegal. You can still empathize with why people want to come here, and still have boundaries and a process to allow them in.
I think he has done nothing good for this country. And Kamala Harris is the one who's gonna make this country better.
Please tell me how. I'd love to see it. Not one person can answer. As long as you can back up your opinion, then I have no issue with it. I've yet to meet a Kamala Harris voter who can tell me what she's accomplished in the last 4 years.
I mean, she was a prosecutor.
Yeah, who prosecuted more black people than ever before. So is she really helping black Americans?
I mean, she's going to be the first woman president. That's going to be historical.
I sure hope not, but I love history. And when the time comes to have a female president or a black female president, I think that's a wonderful thing, as long as it's not because of their race or gender, and it's because of their accomplishments and what they're capable of doing.
That horrible monster in Russia. He wants to be like the guy in Hungary. Those are the people he likes.
But Putin is the one who is endorsing Kamala and not Trump.
No, that's all bullshit. No, that's all fake. That's fake Russian. I'm a former student of the Cold War and worked with Ronald Reagan. I understand disinformation. That's total disinformation, and you can't believe anything that a guy like Putin says.
Okay, here's the reason why I'm going to be voting for Trump. First of all,
but you must not do it. You must change your mind.
But there is no legitimate reasons that I should. I'm open to, like, this is the first time that I'm going to be voting for the president. And the reason that I'm voting for Trump is because the gas prices were low, right? He has more experience.
Not gonna
He's
change.
a businessman.
He's a terrible businessman and a liar, and he's gone bankrupt with every company he ever started and doesn't pay his people. You can't vote for somebody who's a really bad guy. That makes you a bad guy.
But Kamala doesn't even want to answer any questions. Well, she hasn't done any interviews in the last, like...
Why don't you wait till tonight and you'll hear Kamala?
Yeah. I'm really excited for tonight.
Well, I am excited to some degree for tonight. And maybe Donald will act like a decent person, but I doubt it. Anyway, I've said enough.
Okay, I really appreciate you for having a very thoughtful debate. I hope that people in this country have more opportunities like this to like talk and discuss their opinions.
Thank you.
Do you have any advice for young people?
Yeah, young people, think. Try to do your research. Try to understand the state of the world and the state of this country, and try to think about the difference between honorable people and people who just care about themselves and their billionaire friends. You gotta think. You gotta be better educated.
And go out there, vote to make America great again.
America is great. America's great. How much greater can it get? China's great. America's great, China's great, Germany's great, Scandinavian countries are great.
It's very nice to meet you.
Japan is great.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
Nice.
Well, I think Trump is going to win, and I think Trump has the expertise, and he has the background, and he's been president, and he's not a Hitler, and I think the Democrat Party is so full of it and so leftist and so crazy that they've left me, and I'm a Democrat. I can't watch it anymore. I've never seen anything so stupid on every single level. There's nothing there they're winning on, except lying and cheating and stealing and then lying about it. They've done everything nasty possible to stop Trump just from even being a candidate, and then they call it democracy. No, it's called fascism, okay? And if you guys want to keep playing that dirty game, I would support the president anyway. But when he united Jerusalem, he didn't sell out Israel. That's what Biden has done and Kamala's done. People just completely lost their mind. And foreign policy-wise, it looks like A, we're weak. B, our allies say, are you nuts? Have you lost your mind? Our word doesn't mean anything. And with open borders, why wouldn't we be attacked with all of these terrorists coming through that we don't even know about? I come from Miami. When Fidel Castro opened his jails in 1980, we had almost 600 murders in Miami.
My name's Gary Valeschi, and I'm voting for Donald Trump.
All right, so tell me, what are your views on Donald Trump with all the controversy that has been going on with him getting all the 34 felonies and dealing with the porn star situation and just everything that has happened? Are you still willing to vote for him?
He wants to get America to work. He wants to put everybody to work, everybody to have jobs. It's good for the economy, and I understand it. Everybody has problems. Everybody's got skeletons in their closet, and no one's perfect, and I know that. And he wants to be the leader. He don't have to do this. He wants to, which means he wants to do something for America. That's how I feel.
Personally, I think right now, if you have to choose a lesser evil, it's obviously, like, I think Trump has to win in terms of, well, if you want world peace. Because look at where first of all, the Russia-Ukraine conflict, that would not have happened under Trump. Israel and Palestine, that would not have happened under Trump. Also, what happened in Afghanistan, that was a disaster. Like, nobody can say that. Like, it would have never, ever happened under Trump. I think the number one issue is that, also, how did Kamala Harris just randomly get elected? I think that's a real question, because I understand, okay, Joe Biden, he got booted out, right? He's obviously, his dementia is getting worse day by day, but here's the thing. Kamala Harris, there was no primary. There was no like voting system. There was no convention. Like nobody, she didn't have to do anything. No campaigning, no debate, and that has never ever happened before. She just randomly gets all of a sudden, like Joe Biden is out, Kamala Harris is in, and she raises I think $81 million in one day. I think that's very questionable. Like who is donating all of this money? Right? Yeah, I think it's pretty obvious. She's just being there as a puppet, and I'm pretty sure. And she's also a chameleon. She keeps saying she's either black or Indian. She switches back and forth. But if you look at the pictures of parents, because I tried to dig up everything, if you look at both her mother and father, they both look like Indian to me. Personally, I really don't think she's black. I think she's playing that card because like her father's from Jamaica, but there's also Indians in like Jamaica because I live in Canada. There are also Indian people in like Trinidad and Jamaica and Bahamas. Like they were brought over as slaves by the British. I mean, you can look up her family photos. I'm pretty sure like her father might be like 1/4 black. She might be like 10% black. She's definitely Indian, and she's trying to play this card and she's trying to be a chameleon. It's just 100% full of shit. And it doesn't matter if she's black or Indian. Like what the hell has she done for the past 3.5 years, right?
So what do you think about people who support Kamala Harris?
I don't know too much about her, you know. Everybody has the right to support who they want. You know, that's why we vote.
Nice.
Democracy. That's what it's about. Tony Valesky Jr. and Margaret Millard, where's my cash? That's all I gotta say, because they stole my money and that's why I'm homeless.
Here's one thing, the fossil fuels, it's total bullshit because I mean Canada, you know, in Trudeau has a policy by 2035, they're going to end all fossil fuels. They're saying that they actually want net carbon zero emission and all vehicles sold in Canada by 2035 has to be fully electric, which is insanity. It's not possible. And also, here's the thing, why would gas companies want to lower the gas prices when they've literally got 11 years left? You're trying to bankrupt their business because you want to end fossil fuel vehicles to move to electric. So that's why gas is getting so expensive, because they're saying that, oh, you want to freaking phase us out and we're going to keep jacking up the gas prices. And obviously when you jack up the gas prices, think about the milk that gets delivered to our grocery stores, that requires gas. The stuff that, you know, the goods that gets delivered to your grocery stores from the farms, that requires gas. Everything, the egg company, right, the produce company, they had to use gas to, you know, to move stuff to your grocery store. So when the fuel goes up, your groceries goes up. That's why everything has gotten so expensive. Everything the past 3.5 years has been disaster. You know how they're saying the border doesn't matter? Look at all this fucking security. You know, I live in Ottawa, the capital. Joe Biden, he visited Ottawa like last year, like February. It was a fucking embarrassment. I swear to God, there must be at least like 3,000 to 5,000 police officers. Every single police officer, they got called up, they got paid double time. I asked them, it's like a special holiday occasion. They ran out of police officers, so they shipped over like a bunch of officers from Montreal from 2 hours away, and they called up hundreds of officers from Toronto 4 hours away. So there was between 3,000 to 5,000 officers who were completely surrounded, because soon you'll see it's going to be the same thing here. Like this whole area is going to have thousands of people, and there was like 200 snipers on the building. Like every single building you look up on the top floor, like there was snipers. Soon that's going to be here too. They're going to have snipers positioned around everywhere. And they say that, you know, the border national security doesn't matter because they don't give a shit about the border. Like they've let in 10 million people, and they say there's a housing crisis. Well, no shit, you let in 10 million extra people. It's the same thing what Justin Trudeau's doing in Canada. He just flooded the door to immigration, to refugees. There's an international students scam. There's also a temporary foreign workers permit scam. So people can literally come in and they can apply to work at McDonald's or KFC. And all you need to do is basically get 1,560 hours. And it's like a backdoor immigration scam. So a lot of people who got these temporary workers permit, they're coming through immigration. So that's why Canada has a massive housing shortage, because ever since Trudeau took power almost 9 years ago, Canada added 7 million people, all from, I think it's 97% from immigration. And 7 million might not sound like much, but you have to remember Canada has 40 million people. That's the equivalent of the United States gaining 63 million people in 9 years. And that's why everything has gotten so fucking expensive. I tell people, you wonder why rent has doubled. You wonder why your mortgage payment has doubled, because it's supply and demand. When you have, let's say a city of 100,000 people, you have 100,000 houses. There's enough houses for everybody. But now if you add in 900,000 people, now you got 1 million people in the city. There's only 100,000 houses. Well, no shit, half the people are going to be homeless. And that's exactly what we're seeing. If you walk around Canadian cities, you'll see homeless people, rampant drug use, fentanyl, crack, cocaine, people laying on the sidewalk, just like what you see here. It's fucking terrible. Well, but
this country's dealing with a live wire. We don't know when we're going to get hit, but every area is vulnerable right now. So the point is, why would we allow such a thing to take place? Biden's out there telling everybody, if you don't get a COVID shot, you're killing your next door neighbor. Meanwhile, 11 million illegals that Kamala lets in, they don't have to get a COVID shot. Tell me what that's all about. Meanwhile, we have 1,200,000 Americans alone that are dead from COVID because of their stupid politics. And another 250,000 Americans dead because of fentanyl, because of open borders. Well, what are we doing here? I don't understand any of it. So I drove up to give my 2 cents I think my value is very important because I'm coming in as a registered Democrat. I'm openly gay. I'm totally pissed off at everything that's coming from the Democratic Party. And I want to say to Kamala, when Trump nominated Rick Grinnell to be ambassador to Germany, he's openly gay, and you voted against him because you didn't want to change the narrative that he's anti-gay when he's not. And he's done gay events at Mar-a-Lago. I mean, what are you guys doing? I don't understand it. And then you call him Hitler? It's so bad and so dangerous that they've put us in this position, and the whole world is laughing at us. And the whole world is ready to attack us. All our enemies see exactly what's going on. You raised $300 million to be president to continue this insanity? Don't think so. You're going to be surprised. And if you don't steal the election, I'll say two things. If they steal the election, it's civil war in this country and World War III. That's it.
Who do you think you're going to be voting for?
Sadly enough, I'm not too happy with both candidates, but I am leaning more towards Democrat. I wish we had other choices instead of just two choices.
Have you been voting for Democrats all your life, or is it your first time?
For the most part, yeah, Democratic, yes.
May I ask why?
It just seems to align a little bit better with what I see is needed in the country. And yeah, I think they have a little bit more of what I'm looking for in bettering the country.
What are those?
Well, like housing, bringing education, cost of living. I think it's a little bit more aligned to what my thoughts are.
Don't you think the cost of living is too expensive right now as compared to when Trump was the president, like the gas prices?
Yeah, definitely. I think the cost of living it's just unbearable. A lot of people have two jobs nowadays.
Yeah.
It's just,
even yourself, you were
even myself have two jobs. So it's not like when I was young and my parents were able to have just one job and able to buy a home, and yeah, it's just out of control, and something needs to be done about that.
I mean, Donald Trump is a great businessman, but I think when it comes to running for this country in general, I think he's looking in the lens of a business perspective.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with the other person. I think it's Karma. What is it? Pardon me. Pamela.
Karma?
You know.
What?
Pamela. Yes.
Donald Trump?
No. What's good for humanity moving forward and for the future? No matter who we vote for, no matter who runs for president and who wins, it's going to have pros and cons, and that's something that we have to understand and accept. And you just have to think about your morals and values and where you stand in life. But I'm very vocal for the women, in the sense of women are strong, women are powerful, and me personally, I relate more to women.
Yeah.
And I like the sexuality and the sense of architect of thinking that she can be strong and feminine at the same time, and that's what I appreciate in a woman.
I like women too.
Yes. I like men too, don't get me wrong, but it's just a lot of egos involved.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to sometimes work together with men because it's a clash of titans.
You worried about all the Mexicans here?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's pitiful. If we can get Donald Trump in, we might get him out of here.
Yeah.
But our these governors, come on, take the jobs, take the houses. We don't need nothing. Hey, don't do it, man.
They're giving $150,000 to them, right? You know that?
They give them $150,000, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, they give them everything they need. Come on, take our jobs, take our houses. We don't need nothing.
So you're gonna vote for Donald Trump? Are you gonna vote?
Vote no.
No?
I'm not gonna vote because I don't care. But I care, but who cares? Democrats, they don't care. Oh, let the gay guys jump around and dance at the White House. Obama, hey, you filming? Obama, same-sex marriage? Okay, come on down, everybody. So what happened?
What happened?
You don't know?
No. I like Democrats.
He lit the White House up into pride colors and men out there kissing in front of the White House.
Really?
When they legalize.
Yeah.
Are you filming?
No.
I'll have to take that cam and break it. Let me see.
What?
Is it on?
No, it's not on. Tonight is the debate. Are you
yes,
gonna watch
of course. Of course I'm going to watch it.
Who are you voting for?
Kamala Harris.
Why?
I think she's going to do the best for our country and turn it around exactly where it needs to be. And yeah, I would love a first female president.
Why? Like, what's the reason?
I support a lot where she stands with like healthcare, rights, voting rights for all, or sorry, not voting rights, sorry. I got like nervous, but like rights for all. And I think if Trump was in office again, our country would be in a lot of trouble. And especially a lot of minority groups would not be represented as much with Trump in office.
I feel like I'm like represented by Trump.
How so?
The gas prices were cheap, right? So I don't have to pay more money at gas station. That's affecting me directly. He's protecting the borders, so the gangs and other people that are undocumented are not going to come in. They have to come through a legal process. They have to pay the lawyer fees. and then they would be able to come inside. And then I wouldn't feel insecure, right?
Okay. That's fair, but I think that he doesn't really stand up for them. Well, that may reflect through like gas prices or things like that with the economy. It doesn't really, he doesn't really have, I don't know, he doesn't protect them in like a social justice stance. So like with immigration reform, I think a lot of healthcare rights. So for me, I'm personally pro-choice, and he definitely doesn't support that. And so I think there's a lot of things like that where those groups could be vulnerable under his presidency.
What are the policies that you like about Kamala?
I like that she is for pro-choice, as I mentioned, being a female. I think that's really important for us. Yeah.
What do you think, like, what are the, like, what's like the limit of abortion, like when they should be allowed to do it? For instance,
Yeah.
like if you're in your like 8th month or 7th month pregnancy, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that like if you're about to give birth, like you should be able to get an abortion, but there are a lot of things that happen in the beginning where like rape, incest, and a lot of the horror stories, like sexual assault. There's a lot of things that unfortunately is common in our society today, and especially when it's state by state, like to have certain laws or bans by state because of the local politics. I feel like that's not fair to a lot of people, solely based off where they live and stuff.
I mean, California has been Democratic for as long as I remember.
Yeah, I'm personally not from California. Yeah, I feel like.
Have you been to the Skid Row?
Yeah, of course.
You have been there?
I've driven by it.
What do you think about it? It's the effects of
it's-
Democratic policies, right?
I think it's more of a housing issue. I think we need to address affordable housing more seriously, and I feel like it's more of an affordable housing issue.
But if you're gonna pay $150,000 for undocumented illegal immigrants to make them, you know, house owners, how would you be able to like support your own American people who pay tax to this country?
Honestly, I have to go back. I don't know how long this interview is. Like, I actually have to go.
Okay.
Yeah, I have work right now.
So generally, what do you think?
What?
Like, if Democrats were to pay $150,000 to immigrants, right?
Yeah.
Then, like, for me, if I'm paying taxes, then government should be protecting me than other people who are not even documented.
I mean, honestly, they do a lot. Like, immigrants do a lot for our country, and it's unfortunate that the pathway to citizenship isn't easier for them, especially those who have been around here supporting our economy. Like,
Exactly,
for
like
years.
those people should be supported first, right? Then the people who are not even documented.
Sorry, what did you say?
The people who are paying taxes, like I'm an
Yeah.
immigrant, right? So I'm paying taxes. So the government should be supporting me instead of people who are not even documented, right?
Actually, a lot of undocumented people have to pay taxes, or it's reflected in their paycheck. So they don't have any health care, they don't have any benefits, and so those that are undocumented here like are under a lot worse conditions, and it's reflected in like their paychecks and what they have to deal with. So I think that pathway to citizenship should be like a huge priority, as well as, like I said, healthcare, but also that's one of my big like priorities in politics. And so I think under Kamala Harris's presidency.
So that was the video. I hope that you have a good understanding of what's happening on the debate day. It's a historical day. The debate is about to start in 5 minutes. I'll see you next time. Bye.